So today guys, we're going to be showing you a build that still slaps in Title Update 15, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. Now this build right here is probably one of the funnest builds to run if you like running skill builds, and I will tell you this thing just literally destroys everything. 1 minute the enemy's there, the next minute they're flying across the screen, and you'll notice how fun it's to use. Now I will tell you it will only take a maximum of 2 artillery shells to destroy almost any enemy, whether they're red, purple, elite, or even named. They will 100% just disappear, and some of them will disappear on one shot. But what's so fun about this build is how you can clear multiple enemies very fast and very efficient, and that's what I really like about this. When you use this build, no matter how close the enemy is, no matter how far the enemy is, you should be able to take them out. As you guys are seeing, there was a close shot, there's a far shot. Just look, the enemies just end up dying. And what's cool about this build, not only does it have explosive damage, it causes a bleed, so it also causes that status effect, and you might even notice another symbol. Yes, toxic delivery. So the bleed from the turret triggers toxic delivery from the mask, and that's why this build is so much fun to use and actually pretty good. Like I actually like this. Clearing out areas has not been easier, and just look at this. These enemies are just dying left and right. But I'm pretty sure you guys want to know what build am I running, and that way you guys can go out and test it for yourself. So let's get into it. So for the build, we are running the Demolitionist class. As you can see, we have the grenade launcher, and the reason why is because if we are going to run the mortar turret like you guys saw in the gameplay, well, you have to run this specialization. Now we do have all yellows on this build. We are 6 yellows, 11 core yellows, you'll see in a second, 726k armor with 333,000 health. For the primary weapon, we are running the capacitor. This is gonna give us 95,000 damage, 700 RPM with the 40 round mag. We have assault rifle, damage to armor, and health damage. And then obviously the talent on here is what makes this so good. Shooting enemy builds a stack of a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, the stacks decay 1 per second, but for each yellow core skill tier you have, you get 7.5% weapon damage, so you still hit pretty solid with this build. For the mask, we are running the Vio mask. It has status effect, it has a skill tier, it has hazard protection, and it has a skill haste mod. Now I am running this because I am running a build that causes status effects after the mortar hits, because the mortar has explosive damage, but then once it hits, it causes bleed, and that is a status effect, so toxic delivery automatically triggers to any of those enemies that are alive. So status effects also apply a damage over time debuff for 10 seconds. Toxic delivery. Total damage is dealt equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damage and increased by your status effect attributes. So that's why, since I am running status effects on this build, plus I have the explosive damage that causes the bleed, a status effect toxic delivery kicks off. Now if you don't have this, you definitely can swap it out for another gold piece, and I'll explain in a second. For the chest, we are running the one piece China Light. Obviously this is the one that gives us the 15% explosive damage, great for mortar turrets. Skill tier, we have skill damage on here, skill haste, and skill haste mod. We have kinetic momentum. When in combat, each skill generates a stack while active and not on cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1%, total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per skill. Now you can, if you want, keep the skill damage and put status effects to stack more status effects on this build, but with the way I have it set up, it still hits hard enough and it does bleed out enemies. Now we are running a 3-piece Empress International for the 10% skill health, the 10% skill damage for that mortar turret, and then the skill efficiency is everything. It's all the goodies, status effects, skill haste, skill damage. So that's why it's actually really good when you do run a 3-piece. This has 1 skill tier, it has skill damage, and then status effects rolled on the holster. For our second piece of Empress, it's going to be on the knee pads, and obviously you see skill damage and status effects. And for our final piece of Empress, the gloves, and it has skill haste, skill damage. Anywhere you see skill haste, you can roll that for status effects. I just wanted to divide up how much skill haste and skill damage I have on this build. And then finally, we have the Wyvern Wear backpack with skill damage. We have 1 skill tier on here, skill damage, skill haste, and skill haste mod. And then we have shock and awe. Applying the stat effect to an enemy increases total skill damage and repair by 20% for 20 seconds. This is actually a really good talent for the mortar build because you do cause that status effect as soon as you hit. It will cause that, and you should be able to keep shock and awe up almost the whole time. Now, like I said, where I have skill haste rolled on this, you can always swap that out for status effects. I feel like I wanted a balance in between two. Now, if you guys don't have the Vile Mask, well, you guys can run a 2-piece Wyvern Wear for the extra 10% status effects. And that's a great substitute that you guys can put right there. You also could just run a 1-piece Golden Gear for the 1-piece 10% status effects. Really, a lot of different ways you can run it. I decided to run with the Vile Mask, and it actually works pretty good together. Now, you might have noticed we are running an artillery turret, right? So this applies bleed to status effects on affected targets. So anytime we don't kill an enemy, we will cause that bleed, and that's gonna have shock and awe, rocking it and rolling. And then for the mods, we have damage, extra mortar turret, and then a skill haste mod on this one. We do pair this up with the skill damage drone, and I actually like this because the striker drone puts out a lot of damage, especially at tier 6. We have duration, health, and damage on here. So if you guys have been looking for something that performs well with the turret, well, those are the two for my go-to. Now, I was blessed enough to get some rogue agents, yes, on heroic, that stormed me after I took over this control point, and I was like, yo, this is actually a perfect time to demonstrate whether this build is strong enough to take out these rogue agents. And my capacitor actually ran out of ammo, so I had to switch to my pistol. So I was using a pistol with in sync on there just to trigger in sync. But what you can notice is, look how much damage these guys are taking, not only from my artillery turret, but from the status effects that I'm dealing to them, because every time a status effect deals on them, they're taking that bleed, they're taking the toxic delivery from the Vile Mask. Just a lot going on here, and it's just ticking away. It's just ticking, 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 and these guys just didn't know what was hitting them. There we go, we got one down. We literally have one left. I need to get in cover because he's about to take off my armor. I'm just gonna let my turret go over there, and you know what? Why not use the artillery turret one more time? So we set this bad boy up, and it looks like we won't even need it. Let's just finish him off with the assault turret. So there you guys go. I definitely wanted to show you guys how strong this build is. It is definitely one of my personal favorite skill builds. So I want to know, what is your favorite skill build at the moment, and are you guys still using skill builds? I know the Heartbreaker set is currently one of the most used sets out there, but these skill builds are still some of the most powerful things in this game. For the fact that they can clear large areas out at once with one simple shell from the artillery. I'm having a ton of fun using this again, and it's actually helping me out on the new Castile League. So if you guys are looking at a build that's honestly going to help you take out True Sons elites, but also cause bleed to them at the same time, this is a great option for you. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I will see you guys in the next one, but until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.